What I'm going to be going over today is how to use AI to double your leads, conversions, and sales in the next 30 days. I know that that is a big claim, but my goal is that you can walk away from this presentation and wherever you've flown in from, however much you've spent, that you're going to get 1,000x return on your investment from what I'm going to run you through today. Now, this isn't all theory. This is the exact same system that I implemented into my own business, and this is what our ROAS and conversions did after doing it. So I know it works. I'm not an armchair expert. I'm out there like you guys in the trenches every day, actually doing this stuff, got a payroll to make from turning ads into profit. And I spent 2,340 hours experimenting with AI, and today I'm going to show you the wild and scandalous future of marketing. Plus the craziest stuff that you've ever seen for writing ads, hooks, and headlines. Now, you might be thinking, who is this dude, right? Who's this wild Australian guy up on stage with the internet daddy on his t-shirt? A little bit of a rap sheet on me. I've generated my clients over $7.8 billion in sales. I run a team of 100 plus people. I've built over 1,200 funnels in 1,000 plus different niches for 1,600 clients, and I've sold 1 million copies of my book. I also have 3 daughters that are under the age of 7. It is the Subi Circus in my household. It is a wild place. I also have a go-kart that I ride around the office and terrorize other fellow Shark Tank members. So that's a little bit about me. What we're going to be going through is the uncensored money-making secrets. I'm going to be telling you about the future of funnels, giving your market crack, using AI to 2x your ROAS and half your CPAs, 11 simple words that you guys can add to all of your Facebook ads that are going to triple the response, and then selling at every stage of the funnel, not just the ad stuff. We're also going to be going through the #1 way to 2 or 3x your profits immediately, regardless of how much money you spend on ads, and a ton more. I'm also going to give you all of my best performing ads that I have personally spent over $20 million in actually finding them and refining them and testing them. I'm going to give them to you guys as well. But just so I get a little bit of a read on the room, show of hands, who is currently using AI in their business right now? All right? Who uses AI in their business every week? And who uses AI in their business every single day? And so look, for anybody, whenever I speak to an audience, everybody's always very dubious. My customers are different. They're very special and precious, and my industry is different. How do I know this stuff's going to work for me? Well, it works in fitness, health, weight loss, dating, relationships, pets, self-improvement, wealth building, investing, real estate, home services, beauty treatments, and finance, from dentists to dog walkers, and property development to professional services. It just works. So put your skepticism aside, because I don't care what business that you're in, this stuff's going to work for you. So leverage is the key to making money. As business owners, we're all looking at how do we get more outputs for the same inputs into our business. And what we're seeing now with AI is this K-shaped economy, where 20% of the job skills become 10 times more productive and enhanced by AI. And then there's the 80% of job skills that are going to plummet to zero and be completely replaced by AI. However, most people, they obsess over the 80% of job skills, and they're very scared of it replacing a lot of human functions. But instead, what I like to do is think about is what is those 20% of job skills that's going to get us much more leverage on our time? Because what we're actually having right now is leverage inflation. If you're a business out there and you're running ads and you're generating leads and you're using the internet to get customers, you're actually getting negative leverage on your time. What do I mean by that? Well, global advertising spending will grow to 10.5% grow a further 10.5% this year, and it's a total of $1 trillion. So when I got started in digital marketing, digital accounted for 10% of budgets. It now accounts for close to 70%. Now, the reason that you should care is because Facebook is already reporting that they're running out of places in the newsfeed to show you ads. They're relaunching all different types of ad inventory to unlock more because CPMs are going up. And Chamath from Social Capital, he's even come out and said that startups spend almost 40 cents of every VC dollar on Google, Facebook, and Amazon. But if you actually look at it and you look at all of the functions and roles within a business that are tied to customer acquisition, that number is actually closer to 70%. This is Google's annual revenue going up year on year to 2023. And the reason that I show you all of this is because CPMs are rising and they are squeezing out profits. We're getting less output from the same inputs. And when marketing is the tip of the spear that generates the customers, when those CPMs go up, they really, really affect the bottom line. And this image summarizes it nicely. This is what it was like running ads in 2019 versus running them in 2024. With everything that's gone on, these costs are just continuing to go up and up and up. But they aren't the actual biggest threat to your business. It's not the rising ad costs. Because the biggest threat to your business, like your competition is not your competition. You're not competing with your competitors that are in the same city or in the same niche as you, like it used to be. It used to be the yellow pages, it used to just be Google ads, and you were just competing with your local market or people within your industry. But the currency of the internet has changed all of that, because this is what you're really competing with. You're competing with 6,000 titles on Netflix, 700,000 active podcasts, 29 million episodes, 2 million articles, 5 billion videos, live streams, DMs, text messages, Slack, one phone, 2 browsers, and 42 tabs. Right? And that is the marketplace that we all compete in for attention. And you need to be a master at stealing and converting attention if you want to get results from ads these days. Because the market first pays you with their attention. That's the first transaction that ever takes place. It's not when someone fills out a contact form on your website, on your landing pages, in your funnel. It's not when someone pulls out their credit card and buys something from you. It's when they choose to pay with their attention, their most valuable resource, for something that they could be spending it on something else. And this is what it is that you're competing with when you run ads. These are all the things that release dopamine for people that they can choose to spend their time on other than your boring stuff, right? And that's the harsh reality to come to terms with, but the reality of it is that there is infinitely other options out there in the marketplace for your prospect to spend their attention on that are so much more entertaining and fun for them than whatever it is that you're trying to tell them. And this is modern day attention spans. There is mice on crack out there. And that is what you're competing with. And there's never been a greater need to understand social psychology and marketing than now in modern times. You need to be a student of markets. You need to be tapped in to not only what is everyone doing in your market and what your competitors are doing, but what is your prospect doing? What television shows are they watching? What podcasts are they listening to? What are they doing and where are they spending their time and attention on? So you can no longer just be good at writing copy. You must be a brilliant marketer. I was heavily influenced by a lot of the marketing greats, the David Ogilvies, the Gary Halberts, but none of these guys had to compete with the chaotic blizzard that is the internet. It is a wild, wild place out there. And we have more things to focus on, but we focus on them for shorter periods of time. And content is just constantly increasing in volume, which exhausts our attention span. We have unlimited options to choose to spend our attention. Therefore, we focus our attention on things for less amount of time. And you're competing with the strongest competitors on all of these platforms. So you're competing with the TikTokers, with the YouTubes, with the podcast shows, because that's where your prospects are spending their attention. And whenever you serve those people an ad, you're asking for some of that attention. Netflix, Reed Hastings has come out and says that their biggest competition is sleep. It's not Disney Plus, it's not the other streaming platforms. They get it, they understand the game. That is their biggest competitor, is people turning off Netflix and going to sleep. So how do they combat that? Well, They run a whole bunch of split tests and shady experiments to get you to watch. How many people have fired up their Netflix? You haven't clicked on a show. Next time you go in there, it's a different thumbnail. Or maybe you've even watched the show, but they've changed the thumbnail and you're like, oh, there's a new season, and you click into it, right? They're running 220 million user split test because they understand the game is to hijack attention. Because everything competes with everything for attention. We are in one giant attention arena competing for it. Now, leverage is about it amplifying the input to provide a greater output. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about day trading attention. So a sales funnel is simply a system with inputs and outputs. We have the raw inputs being, the raw materials being attention, then the processing of those raw materials is persuasion, and then the output is the revenue, right? Whether it's leads, whatever it looks like for your business, it's ultimately to drive revenue. So regardless of what it is that you're selling, that is true. You have to first get attention. Nothing happens until you first hijack that attention. And it doesn't matter what price point it is, it's still going to remain true. Now, once you understand this, the game then becomes, how do you hack that system to get more attention and to get more throughput to the system? Not just the attention on the top end, but how do you get more throughput through your whole funnel? You do it by getting leverage. So this is what a lead gen funnel looks like for us. So we typically buy traffic at $1 to $2 a click, depending on what niche you're in. I've just put these numbers up there to keep things simplistic. We send them to an opt-in page, then we send them to a landing page, then we ask them to book an appointment, and then we ask them to buy on that appointment. For e-commerce, $1 to $2 a click, we send them to a long-form landing page, we hit them with an order bump that they can add as they check out. I'm going to be going into all this stuff in detail. Then we hit them with upsell 1, upsell 2, and then the downsells. So that model, like we've built over 1,200 funnels. We have guarantees on our services, so we're always coming up against people that are putting us up against other funnels. And this is what works, right? We've generated over $7.8 billion doing so. So in a world where the cost of traffic is just going to keep going up, the businesses that will win are the ones that can get the most leverage from that same traffic. Because you're competing with Coca-Cola, you're competing with all the different brands that are out there because there's only one news feed. So AI equals leverage, right? So the inputs being time, money, or energy that you have to put into the funnel, into the system. The output being the outcome that you desire, whether that's income, revenue, impact, eyeballs, you get the picture. So who wants to see how to use AI to double the outputs using the same inputs for what it is that you're already spending? Alrighty, step 1, getting attention. So let's look at the very first step that we all go out there and compete for, which is the attention. So there are tens of thousands of ads that never ever get clicked on. And that's because most people's ads are this. It's called rice soup. There's no flavor, there's no seasoning in it, it's just boiled rice and water. And what you need to do is you need to focus on being different and unusual and as dramatic as possible in your ads. Because the people and the content that you're competing with in the news feed, if you just come out here and say, this is what I've got to sell you, you are going to be one of those ads that simply just gets ignored, and you're going to be paying a premium on all the CPMs. You need to be polarizing, because being all things to all people is the fastest way to become invisible. Now, in the chaotic blizzard that is the internet, we don't earn attention. We hijack it, and then we earn the right to retain it. I'm going to say that again, because it's very, very important. In the chaotic internet, right, you can't just go out there and just sell from your heels and not be really loud and out there and outgoing, because you have to hijack the attention. And then the value that you deliver to your marketplace is where you then earn the right to retain that attention. So these are some of my ads, right? I try to eat my own medicine, so to speak. They've got, me here, the $1.3 billion unicorn funnel mating dance, me hoping a poop emoji, and me in a red balaclava. And I'm going to tell you why I do this in a moment, but it's also that I know that this is what I'm competing with, right? Dan Bilzerian with a bunch of supermodels feeding a bear raw meat, right? That is what is in the newsfeed before the ad that I serve them. And it's not just our ads, we do it in all of our clients' ads. And the first rule of an ad is to not make it look like an ad, right? Facebook is a native advertising platform. Everyone, whether you go on Facebook or TikTok, as soon as you see the little sponsored thing, as soon as you know that it's an ad, what do? You scroll faster, right? And Facebook knows that. So you need to make your ads not look like ads. So humans have an average of 50,000 thoughts per day, 95 which are the same thoughts repeated over and over and over again. But the human brain is an incredibly efficient pattern recognition machine. And it recognizes that it's a waste of mental RAM for us to relearn things that we believe we already know. So unless you are doing something that is different, then you simply are going to be ignored because the human brain is looking just for that continuous pattern. And that's why in advertising, we use things called pattern interrupt to interrupt that pattern. Right? And that's why things that are new, novel, or that interrupt a pattern get attention. So therefore, that's what we must make sure that our ads do. Now, in 2024, when it comes to how do you hijack ads, how do you hijack attention, when it comes to media buying, 80% is on creative and 20% is on media buying. You want to spend a disproportionate amount of your time on the creative that you put in your ads. Gone are the days where all you needed to do would be a killer media buyer and you'd get really good ad performance. For these big platforms, for Facebook and Google, the biggest threat for these guys, or the thing that they don't like, is a lot of the people that are in the room that run agencies, right? And the reason for that is their goal is just for a mom and pop business out on the street to be able to fire up a Facebook ads account and to be able to run ads profitably. So their whole goal is to make things as simple as possible for the end user and to remove all of the power and to leverage their AI to do all the media buying. So the half-life of those skills are very, very short. Instead, what you need to focus on is creative. So let's talk about what makes a good creative. So first of all, as we've identified, you need to first interrupt the pattern. This is the lead-in copy, right? It's also done in the image itself. It needs to look unusual, it needs to look different, and it needs to also drive the intrigue of what is going on here, right? Why is this bald, handsome dude here holding a USB stick, so to speak? And this client getting hacked feels illegal, in quotation marks. That's going to get your attention. Then, not only does it need to interrupt the pattern, but it needs to have burning intrigue behind both the headline and also the creative. In addition to that, you need to have a big, specific benefit. The framework for a killer ad is big, specific benefit with burning intrigue. You want to make sure that all of your ads have that present. If you do that, you're going to get a huge discount on the CPM that you pay on these platforms. Because Facebook are monitoring all this stuff. They're seeing what the dwell time is of people just hovering over your ad. How many people are clicking the see more and then reading the rest of the copy? How many people are sharing it and clicking it? And if you're getting a disproportionate amount of those engagements, that's just sending signals to their algorithm that this must be good. Because a lot of people are reading it. And they're only going to stop and read it if it's different and if you hijack attention. Right? So a question is, are you launching hundreds of new ads every single week? Brand new creatives, brand new copy. It's a challenge, right? Because 80% is meant to be invested on creative, but it is also very, very difficult to do that at scale. Again, I like to, do what it is, practice what I preach. We're literally launching hundreds and hundreds of new ad variations. And that's the way that you also can fight this inflation, is by launching new creatives. Everyone's launching new creatives on ads and seeing that they get a big little bump in the ad performance. So then the game is like, how do we do that? How do we repeatedly do that at scale? And that's a challenge that I've even had to face with my own business and with the amount of money that I spend on ads. So here's how to do it. First of all, the headline carries 80% of freight in any given ad. 80% is down to the headline. It's not what a lot of people think. We've spent 100 million plus on ads to figure that out. So as you can see here, you've got all the different headlines. New Shark Tank secret floods businesses with clients. Gurus losing their minds over this. That is the headline, right? So the first thing that you can do is you can take your winning headlines that you're running right now. You give them to ChatGPT and say, give me 10 variations of this Facebook ad headline. Make it visceral, ultra specific, and very direct. Each headline should include a big benefit and burning intrigue. Limit it to 45 characters. Here's an example of a winning headline. If you just do that alone, and all you do is take your existing ads, but every single week you take your best headline and you run it through with this prompt and you launch it, that will increase your ad performance by 10 to 15% alone. 11 words to triple response from Facebook ads. What are they? What are these words that the internet daddy speaks of? Is it the headline? Is it the headline on the creative? What is it? It's actually what we call the lead-in copy, right? So what you want to do is with this lead-in copy, and I'm not just using that and saying it's going to triple. Like this is something that we consistently triple response from Facebook ads by changing nothing more than those first 10 to 15 words that lead into an ad. And what you want to do is you want to use a quotation that is a hair-on-fire question or a problem that your market is facing right now. And you want to take it verbatim. A great place to find those things is on Reddit. And it must be, that's where you start your ad as the lead-in copy. And you change nothing more than those, and you'll get really, really good performance. You can also use quotations or testimonials as well. Same thing here. Give me 10 variations of this opener to this Facebook ad. Make it visceral, ultra-specific, and very direct. Limit it to 11 words. Here's an example. Take your winning openers, bang. Then you've got a whole bunch of headlines, a whole bunch of lead-in copies to also change. General rules for your ads is that you must be different at all costs. You need to write like you talk. Use stories. Do not talk about your company in its actual company name. Talk from either a user, talk from first person. Make your ads valuable. This is a big one, right? If you want to get your stuff shared, your ads in themselves need to be of value. Because remember what I said before. The first sale that is made is the sale for somebody's attention. And you want to make sure that you over-deliver on that attention. So if you make your ads actually valuable in themselves and you give value, you're going to find that you get lots of shares and lots of reach and lots of people sharing that thing for free. Your ads shouldn't look like ads. You should not be able to distinguish it from the content that is already on those platforms and that is also getting lots of shares and likes. Short sentences, 5 to 10 words or less, spark enough emotion to generate a comment, share, and a click. Because that's what it is that these platforms are looking for. Meaningful engagement. People do not meaningfully engage with anything that is boring, guys. Or that they just forget, or that they can scroll by. They do it when things are novel, and when they're different, and when they're valuable. So the creative is the grabber that works with the headline to hijack attention. Video versus image ads, right? There's a lot of people that are always like, yeah, it's all about video ads. You just want to make sure that you've got lots of good video ads. That's the best platform. Then there's a whole different camp that it's like it's all about static ads. But more often than not, people think that video ads is the way to go. However, video ads on Facebook is the highest premium inventory that you can get. So unless you really know how to make absolute banger video ads, then you're going to be paying a much higher premium for those CPMs. And oftentimes, video ads are actually lower ROAS or a higher cost per lead unless you really know what you're doing on the creative. But even if you really do know what you're doing with the creative, there then becomes another bottleneck, which is it's very difficult to produce large volumes of video creative that is good, that is remarkable at scale. So image ads, by and large, is the way that you can launch much more ads. You can iterate your way to the bullseye a lot quicker than what you typically would. And it's a way to remove that bottleneck of running a lot of fresh ads. One winning ad is worth more than 1,000 hours of theory. The amount of businesses that I come into contact with that believe the growth of where it is that they want to grow in their business is on the other side of another Facebook ads course bemuses me, right? That is not where the answers are. What you really want to be doing is launching hundreds of different ads to find that one winning ad. And then taking the DNA of that ad, using the prompts that I just gave you, and iterating and creating more of those things. So who would like a $500,000 ad? One ad that will generate your business $500,000. All the hands should be up. All right, so I spent 2,340 hours experimenting with AI, and here is the wild and scandalous way to 2 to 5x your ads results. Because yes, you can use the prompts. We developed our own in-house AI tool that is like if Hemingway and Zuck had a baby, and its life depended on writing high-converting copy. Because I, like a lot of people when ChatGPT came out, was skeptical. And I was like, hey, I forged my whole career in marketing. Surely ChatGPT can't just come and replace me. And I nicknamed it Snooze GPT. And I ran some ads. I sat down like a lot of people, write me a high-converting Facebook ad for this niche, and was very underwhelmed by the output. It wasn't until I went back, I went for a walk, and I was like, I don't need to be the skeptic on this. I need to go all in. This is definitely where the future is heading. So instead of being skeptical about it, how do I treat my ChatGPT account and my AI the same way that I would a new internal team member, and give it the same love, support, and guidance, and continuous prompting and training and the occasional whipping in order to get it to the response that I needed it to? And so what we ended up doing was taking all of the winning ads across all of our agencies and finding out which of the ads that had the highest CTR, the lowest CPL, and the highest ROAS. And we used that as a private data set to create our own platform. So we fed it $7.8 billion in ROAS and used that as a private data set so that it knew exactly what a winning ad looked like. And so you could basically log into it, give it a few prompts. It will write you a Facebook ad. If you go on in there, create a new ad. We have all these different formats of ads. I'm not only going to be going over Kong, I give you prompts and all of that good stuff as well. But basically, you feed it your basic inputs, and you give it your list of your benefits, so how many reviews that you've got, how many stars you review, and what it is that you're ultimately selling. And you give it a minute or two, and then this thing will spit out hundreds of different ad headlines, hundreds of different body copy combinations, and also link descriptions and whatnot. So you would go in, we've got 7 different ads in there. We've got the weird authority ad, the secret piece of information, the commitment and consistency. And you pick one of these for your individual business. Then you choose, what's the CTA? Is it to download a free report, an ebook? Is it to book a call in with your sales team? Is it to watch a video training? Once you've given it that, it will also formulate a unique mechanism for you to make sure whatever it is that you're selling sounds unique and interesting, that your market gives your attention. You have to feed it things like, what are the pain points? So for this one, it was for a property investment company. We said, retire 20 years early, quit the soul-sucking 9-to-5 job, and replace their income and build wealth through property investment. So we give it all of this. The things that they ultimately want is to replace their income and retire 20 years early. Where they got some press, who is the authority figure behind it, feed it all of this good stuff, and then away it goes. Exhausted 9-to-5, a millionaire property tycoon, shocking investment trick revealed here, do this now. If you have a mortgage, it works. And there is a whole bunch of winning headlines that it will spit out that you can just run. Then in addition to that, what makes a good ad is the readability score. There's a free app called the Hemingway Editor. I highly suggest that all of you use it. You can I have no affiliation with them. You can take whatever copy that you've got, upload it in there, and it highlights where are the things that are hard to understand? What is complex? And we have found that you want to write at a third grade reading level or below, and you want to break up the copy of the ads, because most of people are consuming this on an iPhone or on a smartphone. You want to break up these sentences as well to make it highly readable, because consumption precedes conversion. If you want to get people to convert, you need to get them to first consume whatever it is that you've got. And so you can see with Kong, it spat out this copy, and yeah, it's at a third grade reading level. If you did nothing more than that on your ads, you'll see a big bump in conversions as well. Then the other thing that you want to make sure that all of your ads have is a positive lexical sentiment. There are a bunch of different tools. This is another free one. It's called Centergem. And what you do is you copy, whether it's your video script, because Facebook and all of these platforms, AI is reading everything that you say in your videos, or it's your body copy. And their whole thing is they want to share messages that make their users feel good, so that they come back and they use those platforms even more. And so the way that they do that is they analyze the sentiment of that in the words that you use, and you need to make sure that overall you have a positive lexical sentiment. Kong also spits out copy to make sure that's the case. It doesn't mean that you don't need to have any negative sentiment in there, but you can see here's the overall sentiment is positive. That's a big one. But what about the creatives, yo? Because that's what you guys are probably all thinking. Yeah, that's just all the copy stuff. You've given me the ChatGPT prompts. You've showed me Kong. How do I get the creatives? Kong also does creatives, right? So we've taken all of our winning best ad formats also and uploaded it into Kong. You can go in there and edit these things and just change your image, drag and drop, put your winning headlines that you get from ChatGPT or that you get from Kong, and then you can literally launch hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of new ads every single week. And if you do that, it sends the algorithm wild. And that's what happens, and that's what it feels like when you launch a brand new ad and you hit a 6 ROAS out the gate, because you're not sitting down with a blank canvas and wondering. And this is what happened to me when I started deploying this. I had a huge bottleneck in my business of like, okay, cool, I like to create video ads, they're fun, right? They're also very difficult to produce. I have a whole video production team, and it's still a huge effort and production for us to do it. And then you need all of the different ad combinations for when it fatigues. So it really, really does work. And there's no such thing as a boring product, just boring marketing. For any people that just looked at those ads and thought, that's a little bit out there, that's a little bit wild, what I have isn't as entertaining as that, you can make anything interesting if you spend the enough time and resources to do so. And you should be spending 80% of your time on that function, because it is the tip of the spear and it's the things that will dramatically add to your profits. And how did I figure this out? I launched a VSL, about a video sales letter, for those that aren't familiar, 3.5, 4 years ago. And I did 2 variations. One was just the normal one, where it's just like me talking about business and, hey, do you want to get more leads coming into your business? Do you want to increase your ROAS and your profits? Very straight down the line. Then I did the wild man hook, right? The wild man hook is me holding a poop emoji in my hand that has nothing to do with digital marketing, but it is different. And that thing dramatically outperformed the ad. I didn't know why. I don't know what the correlation to a poop emoji is in digital marketing, but the thing that it does, it's different. It hijacks your attention, and consumption precedes conversion. Big brands get it too. Right? I used to look at these guys and laugh and think they know nothing about marketing, right? Like they're not using hardcore hooks and sales messages and stuff like that. But these guys get it. They get the game. They get how to hijack people's attention. And that's why they put on outrageous spectacles like this, with Snoop for Bic lighters and Arnold dressed as Zeus and lightning coming down, all of this crazy stuff, because they understand how to hijack the game. Because there is a war for attention. And the question that you want to ask yourself is, what weapons are you using? Are you bringing a knife to a gunfight? Right? Are you using plain, boring rice soup for your ads? Or are you being very, very different to what everybody else is doing in your marketplace? Now, using this method, you'll have thousands of fresh ads to run weekly. And that's how you get 100x leverage on the same ad spend that you're already doing. Take the ad spend, use this system, and you will see a ridiculous throughput to your funnels. This is what it felt like for me when I figured this out and I could start running the ads. So that's the getting the attention part. Let's talk about converting the attention. So the first rule of Fight Club is that nobody is going to read, watch, or listen to your stuff if it is so boring it could make an accountant cry. So you need to look at all the sales messages that you're putting out there, the email flows, the website copy, and say, is this entertaining? Because this is what you're competing with. You're competing with hyper customized local content that is fed through an algorithm, releasing dopamine to your target market through TikTok, through YouTube, through all of these different platforms. And unless it is different and unless it does hijack their attention, then you're not going to be able to provide any real value because it needs to provide real value. The first thing to consider is, why does my prospect even care about what it is that I'm saying? It's got to be really interesting, it's got to be entertaining, and it also has to provide value. Because skepticism is at an all-time high. Thanks to the internet, the barriers to entry in order to start a business are almost zero. It's an internet connection and a phone. And what that means is that for all of the business owners that are in this room, unfortunately, there is some guru on the newsfeed that is hawking your business idea as a business opportunity for other people to go out there and make money with, and convince people to quit their 9-to-5 job and to start a business in your niche. And what that means is that you have a whole bunch of people that don't know what the hell they're doing, that are going out there and they're running ads and they're cluttering up the marketplace. And then how many people have had a new client come to them, but you're not the first person in that niche that has served them before? And they have been burnt to a crisp, and they are highly skeptical about everything that it is you're saying, right? And that's going to only accelerate with more time as more people come online. So it makes every step of the funnel, from people being dubious about clicking on your ads, to opting into your content, to watching a video, to booking a call with your sales team, to coming into your showroom, because everybody is just screaming and competing for more attention, and the chances are that they've already been with someone else and haven't gotten the result that they want. A great way to combat that is a high-value content offer. One of the quickest and downest, dirtiest ways to do that is what some people know as a lead magnet, which is a free report, where you basically provide value. But most people say, yeah, I've tried this subread, didn't get the result that I wanted, right? Or I tried it and I didn't have a line out the door of people waiting to give me money and to throw money at me. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. But the first rule to understand is that this is the second transaction that takes place. The first one being we're getting their attention. And then the second one is when we give them something for free, it needs to be as good as a paid product. Most people put together a stodgy free report, a white paper, and there's no real value in that thing. It's just like a promotional merchandise for their business telling them how great they are. That's not real value, right? The other way that you can do it is through a video opt-in as well, where you have a video that people click on this button and it pops up and then they opt in for that as well. Again, it's just anything that your prospect associates with high value, and it is it's an offer for that value for free. So we've run these things in all different markets: videos, webinars, opt-ins, low-ticket products, all of that kind of stuff. And with all of that said, right, nothing will give you a cheaper cost per lead than a free report. We've split tested it to the high heavens. That's how you spend $7,000, pull in 668 leads at $11 a pop. It's also how you spend $8,000 and get $3,589 at $4.46 a lead, right? It gives you the cheapest cost per lead that you can possibly get. So value is the antidote to skepticism. And that's why in the age of influencer brands, with people putting out content, it's because that value is combating all the skepticism that is rising in the marketplace. So the lens that I want you guys to all look at it for is how can you provide the most value to your market for free and treat them like a customer before they give you a cent? Because that's the way that you're going to be able to fight this skepticism that is just running wild right now. So we grab them by the throat with an attention-grabbing headline, because in order to provide that value, we have to first get them into our world to start with. So let's talk about profit printing. I made a promise at the start of this presentation about how to make your business 2 to 3x more profitable. We do that using profit printing, aka split testing. Again, I don't have any affiliation with these guys, convert.com. Google, they sunsetted their feature of Google Optimize and being able to run split tests directly in Google Analytics. But I get very anxious and nervous if I don't have several split tests running at any given time. People see me around the office, something wrong with Subry today. It's because I don't have 7 split tests running. But I always have 7 split tests running, because split testing, not only on the ads like we just covered, but at every step of the funnel, is the way that you literally print profits. It's the single easiest way for any business to double or even triple their profits immediately. Show of hands, who has a split test running right now? Not enough people. What do you do when you want to run a split test? So the biggest, easiest thing that's going to move the most freight in your funnel is going to be the headline of the opt-in page that you run, right? You just pick a headline, you can run it using those same prompts, right? This is what it does for me. So on this one, I got a 35% bump. This one, I got a 20% bump. And on that last one, I got a 243% bump. You put them all together, it compounds. You keep running that every week. You keep iterating your way to the bullseye, and that's the way that you print profits. That's the way that you have a lot more money at the end of the month to buy protein shakes or pistachios, or like for me, organic raspberries for my 3 daughters, because it is an expensive habit they have. So let's talk about headlines. What do you put in the headlines? So first of all, the headline's job is to grab attention and then filtering that target audience, generating burning intrigue, and promising a specific benefit. Focus on what to say and not how to say it. Most marketers obsess over how to say things. That's not the small hinge that swings the biggest door. You want to figure out, what is it that I need to say in the first place? And the way that you do that is by something I call diving inside the monkey brain. What questions are they asking? Look at forums on Reddit, Quora, subscribe to the email list of all your competitors, check out Amazon reviews, be a prospect, speak, mystery shop all your competition, join Facebook groups. What are the common things that come up that they say? And then you want to put those things that they say into buckets to test. And it's about what you say and not just finessing the words and adding more polarizing language into it. A pro tip on this, download a Chrome extension called Discussions, and then when you search for anything in your marketplace, it will only show you all the forums and discussions for the search results. Right? Best diet for weight loss. It will show up here as an additional little tab, discussions, and then it just starts showing you all the forums, what everybody's saying online. This is unlimited fodder for all of your ads, hooks, and headlines. Pay attention to the language and the vernacular that they use. Some of my best performing headlines in copy is when I have literally copy and pasted exactly what somebody has said in my target market from an email or a Quora post or Reddit, and I have literally used that verbatim because that's the language that my market speaks in. I don't want to speak like a marketer. Above everything else, put yourself in the shoes of the prospect. Do not think about what it is that you've got to say. Think about what it is your prospect wants to hear. The 4 U's for a headline formula: make it urgent, unique, useful, and ultra specific. Do not talk in just broad generalities. As the market gets more fragmented, you need to get more specific with your language. Again here, we use ChatGPT. Give me 10 variations of this headline, make it visceral, ultra specific, and very direct. Here's an example of an opener, right? Or a headline, I should say. And so you're taking your winning headlines that you're already running split tests with, and then you're not having to reinvent the wheel every time. You leverage AI to do that for you. You can do it on ChatGPT with a free account. You can do it on Kong as well, right? Where you prompt it and it will give you all of the outputs that it is that you need. So we've got buying the traffic, then we're sending it to a landing page. Because we're running hundreds of different ad combinations, if not thousands, we get a bare minimum. I'm being, very, very generous by saying you're only going to get a 20% uplift in your ad performance. It's typically double, right? But I don't want to use any exaggerated claims. You're going to get a higher CTR, lower CPMs, lower cost per purchase, and a lower cost per lead. Let's talk about processing that information. So the biggest hack ever is just to sell what people want to buy. Simple, yet most people don't do it. Most business owners think about what is convenient for me to sell. What is easy for me to sell, not what the market is absolutely starving for. So what I would encourage you to do, regardless of the niche or the product that you've got, put that aside for a moment. Use the method that I just discussed of exactly how to figure out what people want and then just sell it to them. Because the perfect bullseye exists in any given marketplace. And it doesn't matter if you hit it with a sniper rifle or a rubber mallet. When you hit it, people buy emotionally, irrationally, and in large, large quantities. And you need to make an offer with balls, right? I call it a Godfather offer. So when a Godfather offer is made, people buy. However, what a lot of people do is that they run around and they make offers that everybody can refuse, rather than having an offer that is so good that people can't refuse it. And that's the tip of the spear. All the stuff that I'm telling you about ads and funnels, none of that stuff matters if you're selling something that the market isn't starving for. The best way to come up with one of these offers is to first put it all down on paper. Everything that you've got, right? Forget about your lawyers for a moment. Forget about making claims that are compliant. Just put it down on paper and think, what is the most ludicrous offer that I could create that people would run to throw money at me? And don't think about how you're going to deliver on that yet or how you're going to even sell that. Start with that in mind, and then you peel it back to something that's actually deliverable. Instead, what most people do is they go out with an offer that they feel comfortable with, and it doesn't work. And then they're like, oh, let me put lipstick on a pig now and try to make this thing work. And you're just swimming against the raging river. So here's an example of an ordinary offer. Buy your mattress online, fast and free. Australian made with free delivery. Buy your mattress online today for better quality, factory direct, locally owned and operated, various payment options, headboards, assembler. This is what most people's ads look like, right? You wouldn't look at that and go, oh my God, that's such a terrible ad. That's what most people's ads just look like. That's their offer. This is their offer. Buy an Australian-made mattress online with free and fast delivery. If you had to boil that ad down, right? Instead, irresistible offers are detailed and hyper-specific. This was the offer that we created for this client. Get Australia's best reviewed mattress delivered to your door for free with a 100-night trial. For a company called Koala, these guys went from 0 to 13 million and then to $200 million in revenue in 3 years, right? So that's what it looks like when you go into a market and you disrupt it with a Godfather offer. So let's look at another one. Say you run an SEO agency, best SEO management, digital marketing experts, 100% results focused, no lock-in contracts, best local SEO management company. Looks pretty normal, right? Looks what most SEO agencies would do. Right? If you had to boil that down, best SEO management and digital marketing experts. How many people are making that claim on the internet? Right? Everyone. Instead, when I was cold calling from my bedroom, I created guaranteed Google rankings in 90 days or we work for free. This went on to take me to win all of these awards and to go from cold calling in my bedroom to becoming a shark on Shark Tank on that one offer alone. That's the power of this stuff. The offer is the tip of the spear, right? And that's the offer that you're making. It's your marketing message. It's what everything else stems from. It's what arms your sales team. It's what arms your funnels if you're selling e-commerce online to convert a disproportionate amount of that traffic. And a compelling offer is 10 times more powerful than a convincing argument. Yet most people find themselves on sales calls trying to have a convincing argument. A strong offer will succeed in spite of weak copy. But strong copy will not overcome a weak offer. So when you're sitting down and you're looking at your offer on what I call the offer scale, make sure that you're not sitting on the crappy end or the ordinary end like most people do, and have a Godfather offer. It's going to make your life so much easier. And the way to figure out whether or not you have a Godfather offer, I have a saying, if the offer and guarantee don't keep the founder up at night, then they simply aren't strong enough. If you're feeling comfortable with the offers that you're making, they're not strong. It's as simple as that. You should get a little bit hot and bothered, a little bit nervous when you put the offer out. Should be legal, should be compliant, but it should make you feel very uncomfortable. Because that's what opens up the loop in a prospect's mind of how are they able to offer this. And you need to give it your very best shot on the first time, no exceptions. Don't start from a place of weakness and then try to dial it up. Start from the strongest place possible and then dial it down. If you want to break through results, you have to put in a breakthrough effort. There is no shortcut to this stuff, guys. Alrighty. So we send people, we get a 20% bump on the opt-in page. Then we also, let me go back here. We get a 20% bump on the CTR of our ads. We get a 20% bump in the conversion rate on our opt-in page by running those split tests and finding our way to the bullseye, by figuring out what our market wants and then giving it to them, and then using AI to generate lots of headlines. And then as a result of that, we get a 73% throughput to our funnels, which means we get 73% more appointments or 73% more revenue and profits at the end of the day. And that's what it looks like when you hit the money printer. It goes brrr. Yeah, that's my favorite little noise, little money printer going off. And that's what happens when you compound all of these things together. It's not about just the best ad hack and the best ad strategy. It's about looking at every single touch point as a part in your funnel and thinking, how do I do more here? How do I get more leverage out of the CPMs, more leverage from the traffic onto my opt-in page? And you do that by profit printing and running all of the split tests. Just some closing thoughts. In business, you really want to, we're constantly in a battle of shiny object syndrome. I know that I had a really bad case of shiny object syndrome early on in my career, and I got my ass handed to me because I kept on jumping around from thing to thing. And I only started getting good results when I started focusing on the main thing. And the main thing is to understand your prospect's problem better than anybody else. That is a fundamental thing that is going to always serve you. 2 is being able to articulate that better than anyone else. And 3 is to solve it better than anybody else. And if you guys are like me, right, entrepreneurs start a business because for some, we're not happy with something that's going on, right? And then we try something new and we get some results and we're like, oh, that's awesome. So that means like, if I keep trying new things, I'm going to recreate this and keep getting results. But that's often not the case, right? Instead, we're always faced with the battle of, do I improve my existing business or do I launch a new business? Do I launch a brand new product? Do I do something completely brand new? And it's a forever battle. And the higher that you get up, the opportunities just become more enticing. And there's always a fight to go towards them. So you need to say no to distractions because focus is a superpower. And the most dangerous competitor is the one with singular focus. They're not getting distracted by launching thousands of different things and all these different businesses with all these different revenue streams coming in. And the way that I have found to combat and still scratch that need for something that is novel is to launch new front-end offers that all lead to the same back end. Because it allows you to still scratch the itch of trying something new and launching new products. But all paths lead to Rome. They all lead to the one back-end business that you've got. And it allows you to have a bit of that, shiny object syndrome and ADD and wants to constantly do new things as an entrepreneur, but it still serves the main purpose, which is to grow the overall main thing. It's going to take you much longer than you think to hit your goals. It's going to take you much more volume, much more work, and it requires years and years of focus in order to get there. But it is worth it. And for anybody that's thinking about quitting or going through those hard times, my word is that if the path was easy, then everybody would walk it and it would lead to nowhere. Don't quit. Keep pushing for what it is that you want and stay dangerous. Thank you.